It's just different.
Hopeless at one point and then having an opportunity to make you go harder, make you get in that booth and just really express that hopelessness. Like, man, y'all don't understand. This is like, you know what I mean? You dig from a different place. That bottom of your soul, that pit, homie, where you felt like the shit was, you know what I'm saying? You always wanted, but it looked like it was just not gonna happen.
Shit, in your mind it ain't gonna happen, shit, it probably won't. I took some risks, some people probably won't. That's how we're grateful for the fruits of all my labor. Hard to live and know you sick, I'd rather be with my creator, thinking time's up.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Foreign Insight Podcast. This is your host, Mike Obi.
And it's your boy, London Ogletree, back for some more gems. What's up, my guy?
Not a thing, my brother. I'm not even gonna hold you. I'm excited for this week's episode, man. Some pepper soup in the pot is ready, and I ain't gonna lie.
Soup. Yeah, y'all guys gonna be kind of. I wouldn't say I would be mad at us this episode, but I feel like a lot of the women gonna kind of be like, "Oh yeah, I see that all the time." So I think this is gonna be an interesting one. So it was a request from a lot of, actually, some of my homies that they wanted to talk about a few of the questions. So. Yeah, like my boy Obi just said, it's gonna be enough for some. What is it? The Pepe soup.
Yeah, man, this is the pot's boiling. But let's get the formalities out the way. Obviously, we continue to appreciate y'all who rock with us, show your support, talk to us, tap in with us, in person or on social media, and keep on providing feedback for us and keep on supporting the movement. And just continue to do so, we ask, by giving us 5-star rating on all your listening platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and subscribing to our YouTube channel, as well as sharing and spreading the movement to all the people you know. All right. So like El just talked about, we have a special fan requested episode, and this is going to be titled Men Who Get Money and Become Insecure. The nerve of these ninjas.
That's a good one.
So El, I'm gonna go ahead and let you take the lead on this, man. You hear that quote, you hear that term. The person who gave us the inspiration for this episode came to you about it. So just what was your initial thought whenever that person came to you, and what have you thought about this?
So when he sent me he's like, y'all need to talk about this. He sent me a video and I kind of watched it and just kind of looked at it and kind of said, I was like, wow, are men really insecure with money? Because like I kind of look at it from my point of view, like I'm not insecure and I make good money. I would say decent money, I guess. I don't know what make money is. Like, I don't know if we're talking millionaires or we're talking 6 figures or we're talking close to 6 figures or what is it? But to me, there's some men who kind of run with it and kind of they hide behind their money and its insecurities. So they kind of, what I do notice, they'll like use their money to be like, I can do this, I can do that, and kind of demand power, and that could be an insecurity. But that's, to me, the people that I'm around, I don't quite see it, but I have seen it, like people who are very overpowering with their money and just kind of trying to say, how do I want to word this? Like, whatever I say goes. But would you really call that an insecurity?
Would I really call that insecurity? No, but it's I think it's a form of coping. So when you told me this in the gym, I really, like, my first thought was like, that seems like it has a very implicit direction that that term is taking, right? Which is basically men who have money are insecure. One thing I did just to poll the family is I polled it on my Instagram and just try to see, okay, what do people really think? And it was almost unanimous. It went 83-17 in favor of that's not true. Like, people don't agree with men with money being insecure. So there's that aspect. But I'm like, okay, well, what's going on then? And what I think happens, especially nowadays, is there are certain people who've been given the message, or who have been given some type of influence, guidance, that your money is what dictates your value as a man. Just like the amount of bodies you catch as a man dictates, your value, or whether you are good or not good with women, or are you someone who can give dating advice, those type of things. Like, okay, like, people literally ask, how many girls have you knocked down? How much money do you have? That's what, determines your credibility as a man rather than your character, rather than your value that you bring to the world. So I think, this whole insecurity thing is a matter of um, men who probably didn't have money previously or didn't come from money, and then they get a taste of it, and it's almost like a drug. You get a taste of that money, and then you get mad with power. You start to get greedy. You start to be entitled. You know what I'm saying? We have a big entitlement issue, I think, in our culture. So I think that's what kind of my first impression of it was.
Yeah, I think kind of what you said, this that's how the insecurity starts, is because they think the money gonna change their personality. But it's like, if you don't conquer those goals and you don't conquer those things in the beginning of like beating those insecurities, that money's not gonna really, it's gonna really just make you more insecure. It's gonna make you more of an asshole, honestly, with other people, by just because you have more, you can spend more money, you can save more things, you can do more things when you have money. But it's also, it's like, it's a thin line of saying, like, to me, being insecure because of how you talk and be blunt and be like, but then also they would call it as like, you're cocky. Like, they're like, don't say these things because that comes off as cocky, or don't say this. Or I feel like somebody who's confident, and like, that's like me saying I'm big or I'm tall or something. I'm like, don't be cocky. I'm like,
all right.
Is that really cocky, or is it just me saying like the truth? So
Yeah.
it's a thin line on it. But there are some people that are, to end that topic, like, there are some people who do have money that is insecure, but you have to kind of beat that by yourself before you get that money, and kind of sit, like I said, sit down with yourself and learn yourself before getting that money. But I don't really see it too much. So
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and it's kind of like you said, there's a fine line between confidence and cockiness, right? That's what we mostly hear, right? So it's one thing if a person starts to be like, they get success, and with getting success, they become wealthy, and that wealthiness, that success enables them to be confident to walk and be more comfortable in their skin, right? That's what should happen, right? Because that you did the work, you put the work in on yourself and in your life to be able to become successful. So that's one thing where it's like, because I'm successful, I walk with my head up, with my chin up, I walk with my shoulders, I walk with, my chest up, and I walk with confidence. And therefore I don't take, BS from nobody, like that being no nonsense, or like, I don't take disrespect from anybody, because I know my worth. I know my value from a standpoint. I know what I'm capable of. Like, that's different than, somebody who lets their, let their success, their wealth kind of corrupt their character, or lets it change them for the worse. I think that's what, is where it can kind of be taken the wrong path.
that's 100% true.
All right. Now, the question though I have with these whole things is kind of, why do men become insecure after attaining the wealth? That's kind of the question I get to. I don't really try to insinuate, or, try to say, oh, you're guilty of this, or you're wrong, or whatever. I'm like, what happens? What happened there to cause people to be insecure? Like, was it something that they were just predisposed to, and then the money just highlighted it or depicted? Or, was it something that maybe caused an insecurity, and then because it's like they knew what it took to get there, they knew what kind of struggle they had to go through, so then there's always this like unease about how their life is going forward? What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's real backwards to me. Like, if you get wealthy and then you turn insecure, like, that would be very backwards. I would be like, to me, if I would be insecure if I didn't have anything, because it's like, at this point, I feel like people judging me because I know I don't got nothing. So I'm insecure about several things. But when you have, to me, when you have money, all that's going to do is probably highlight it, because you already felt that way. So I already think you feel that way, but the money just highlighted it and made you become cocky now. So that money made you be cocky and say everything that you're facing and you're dealing with inside yourself. Now you feel like you have the balls to talk it now and be like, I got this, I can make this, I can say this, I can say that, because essentially it's like, who gonna tell me that I can't do that? I make money now, so all y'all can just kiss this, kiss that. So it's like, now you're becoming an asshole, instead of just being, you're so not happy with yourself. Now you just feel like you gotta down everybody else to make yourself feel good and validate the stuff that you talk about. So I think that's kind of why they probably will be like that if they get rich, because now they're still not happy with themselves. So they feel like they got to beat everybody else down so they could feel like they king tut. but don't do that to me because I'm gonna smack you.
Why you so violent, bro? Why you like
I'm
smacking
not,
people?
man, because I'm big on respect and respecting everybody around me.
Mhm.
So it's like I really wish everybody else is like that. But you know, we live in a world where people are rude.
Yeah, I always say that mentality and having respect, being reciprocated. That would be in an ideal world, but we don't live in an ideal world. We don't live in an ideal time. Unfortunately, people are entitled, and people, think that because of their status, because of their clout, because of whatever they've been able to attain, that makes them higher value, or that means that you're beneath them, whatever the case may be, depending on whatever. But like you said, nah, I don't play that game. Never. Go disrespect. But the men who start off with nothing in life, like a lot of guys who become wealthy usually come from more humble beginnings, kind of an impoverished background, maybe have single parent homes, and then they use that to kind of fuel their drive to attain wealth later in life, right? What do you think happens there, like in terms of whether they're secure in their skin or not secure in their skin? What do you think happens with those men?
Those are my favorite type of men. I
Mhm.
feel like I fall in that type of category of for me, the men who start off with nothing,
Mhm.
it kind of comes from I pulled in my like Detroit side of it. And it's like family, like I use my dad for example. They didn't have nothing, or my mom didn't have nothing growing up. And he had to kind of will his way into kind of basically putting the foundations up for himself because he never had the resources to do that. So for me, I respect that type of person. Not saying I don't respect somebody who can like keep moving on businesses and business throughout the family going on, but for somebody who doesn't have anything growing up and you still make your way out of a jungle situation of where it's not supposed to even be made for you to come out of it. I respect those people so much more because it's like you you really had a vision and you didn't care about seeing killings, drugs, bad influences leading the wrong way. You had your own mindset. That's kind of where I lead to the whole mindset. Like nobody, I've never understood as a kid what peer pressure was. Like, that don't even make sense to me. Like if I don't want to do something, I just don't want to do it. If I wanted to do it, I wanted to do it. But like to me, I like those people because I'm like, you have a story, you have the ability to, for me, to say, I feel like you have the credibility to go talk to somebody and say, I can tell you this because I'm not telling you something I did not do. I'm telling you something that you need to know how to work on. I've been in your shoes. I've actually been further, like been down lower than you. I'm not saying everybody would be, but if there's somebody lower than me, like this is why you need to kind of hustle this way. This is why you got to grind this way. This is why you got to put these things first so you can be in this situation. So I definitely think those people right there thrive in my eyes more.
Yeah, I mean, those humble beginnings kind of create a thicker skin and they kind of create that resilience. It's tough whenever they're going through it, in the youth. Like, prime example that just happened yesterday, LeBron James just became the first active NBA player to become a billionaire. But, he grew up in Akron, Ohio, with, to a single mother who had him at 16, all of that. So, everything was stacked against him, all the chips stacked against him. Now, yes, he was able to work hard and, be NBA basketball player and all that stuff, but it's still a matter of being able to, stay the course, stay the path, take care of yourself, and then, even more so, marry a high school sweetheart, and then put all your homies on, Randy, Rich, and Maverick, having those guys come up with you. And that's one thing I've always respected about Braun is just the fact that he didn't ever let himself get kind of caught up in, oh no, now that I'm LeBron James, I'm,
Right.
gonna forget about those guys. Like these guys, I can see they have a vision, they have their kind of goals that they said they're serious about it. So I'm gonna use my power, my worth to kind of to kind of uplift them. And just the way he's carried himself. Another person, Magic Johnson, who came up in Lansing, Michigan, kind of that whole thing. And again, big family, and he was able to kind of build himself into the mogul that he is now. So I've always loved those stories. I've always respected those guys as well. I didn't come from that type of background, but I mean, having immigrant parents, they always made sure to like give me to understand like look at where we came from, look at what we had to do, and understand, just that the opportunities that you've been afforded to. So that's why, like, for me, it's like I don't take things lightly. It's like it could be a lot worse, and I could have had a way worse hand dealt to me. But the fact of the matter is, the fact that I was given, the small fortune I did have, I just appreciate that, and I try to use it, and I try to, help. Then, I'm big on empowering the next generation and kind of mentoring people. Like, look, you have an ability, you have worth, you have something that you can create for yourself if you are willing to put the mind, the work and the belief in yourself, and then anything is possible. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
All right.
Yeah, we'll be over there talking.
Hey man, I'm big on helping people and kind of empowering the collective and trying to leave the world in a better place than when I found it. That's always been my legacy. I'm big on just the power of limitlessness from the standpoint of the unknown. There's infinite opportunity out here in abundance. We just have to be able to come out here and seize it, and we then build ourselves up so we can leave a legacy and pass it down. You mean?
100%.
Enough of my preaching, bro. But one thing I'm curious to hear your opinion on is what separates the men who get wealth and empower others, like a LeBron, like a Kobe, Magic, those type of people, and then those who get money, get wealth, and they use it to alienate others, or they say, I put the work in, and those of us or those out there who don't get wealthy, who don't make it, it's their fault. It's all on them. They just didn't work hard. What do you think is the difference in mentality between those two types of individuals?
So kind of how you worded it, I think both sides are right to an extent.
Yeah.
I lean towards the LeBron James method of being a good leader, but I also have a little bit of the you don't work hard, you lazy. Like, it took me to do this to get here.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't like hearing the truth, but it's like if Bill Gates or Warren Buffett was like, you're lazy, London, like you make this, but you can do so much more. You're not doing this right. You're not investing in the right index funds. You're not putting time in it. You have all the resources. You have YouTube. You have all this stuff where they're basically being your own financial advisors, and you're not doing it. So this is why you will never make it.
Right.
Some people will call that as hating, or you don't want me to succeed. But at the same time, I could say like, no, he's telling the truth. I do have all these resources, and they did not have those resources. And he's telling me I made it and didn't have those resources, where you have these resources and you should be like, basically you should be able to make it. Yeah. But I think LeBron has that leadership mentality as well. Like, he told me, he asked Bronny, like, what do you want to do? Do you want to play ball? And Bronny was like, yeah, let's do it. And he's like, let's get in the gym, let's work. And I think he tells Bronny, like, it's not going to be easy. I'm not going to always tell you what you want to hear, but you also have to, but if you're on that side when you're just bashing people too much, that's not what I would say. You got to credit somebody and tell them what they need to hear and what, like, the good that they do, but also tell them this is what you need to improve in. This is what you do to get better. You're not 100%. We're not all perfect. So we all have, like, if somebody sat there and said, LeBron, there's nothing you got to do anymore. You don't have to train no more. LeBron's not going to think like that. He's like, I got to come, like, next year, he's in year, 19 coming in. He's probably thinking, what can I get better at? And realistically, he don't got to get better. No, he could be the same LeBron James for the rest of his life and be fine. But his mindset is, I'm trying to be the greatest ever. I'm trying to be the best at what I do. I'm trying to be the first billionaire to play, which he already is now. He already passed that. And to continue to keep playing, is like, you got to listen to those people. So I see both sides.
Yeah. No, and that's 100% correct. That's 100% true. Like a LeBron, I know we talk about him a lot, but even Kobe was like this. Mike was like this. Like, there has to be an obsessiveness in terms of improving and never getting comfortable, never being satisfied. Yeah. Right. And even like you talked about, like, a Bill Gates telling us, like, word to tell you, like, yo, there's more you can do. Like, for me, it's all about people being willing to help themselves before I can help them, right? I can't want it more than you want it. I can't, like, people who want to get in the gym, or people who fragrance, right? Since that's the thing that I'm kind of sort of expert in. It's like, look, I can tell you all until I'm blue in the face. Look, you can go search here, like, okay, get in shape. Got to get in the gym a couple days a week, at least 3 to 4 days a week. You got to eat right. If you want to gain weight, you got to be in a calorie surplus. If you want to lose weight, you got to be in a calorie deficit. But at the end of the day, if you're not going to the gym, if you're still eating the same way and then you're not getting the results, but then you keep saying, well, why am I not doing it? Why am I not doing it? It's like you're not putting in the work. You're not doing what you're being advised to do. Like, you know what I'm saying? Is that, and then, you know, even on the smell good stuff, it's like, look, okay, if you like this is what you need to go for. You need to go out and test it out. If you want it, then these are the places you can go look. I could tell people that to the tumble in the face, but at the end of the day, it's like, nah, I don't feel like it. Not yet. Maybe later.
Right.
Eventually, people are gonna lose their patience with you. You know what I'm saying? Like people who are self-motivated to say, I want a different outcome for myself. Those are the people who usually are able to strive. And honestly, I think there's a level of they take accountability like for themselves in terms of saying, look, I have this situation, I have the circumstance right now. I want it to change and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to be better and to improve it. And I think that's the difference in mentality in terms of people who are not where they want to be, but they're trying to get there, is that they don't say, well, it's somebody else's responsibility to, you know, improve my life. It's my responsibility. Now I can ask and I can put my feelers out as much as I want to, but you know, at the end of the day, it falls and it rests on me.
Kind of what you kind of said when I told you about, like, you was doing cardio on the on the treadmill on the incline.
Yeah.
I was like, you're gonna have to ramp this up and go on the stairs. And like you took it like really well. Like some people would be like, man, I'm doing this. Why are you trying to tell me? Like, I was like, just coming from a person who struggled to lose weight as well. Like I can do the treadmill and like, it'll make me lose weight, but like, I just knew the results for the Stairmaster was so much more for me. And then when you got on the Stairmaster, I was like, start off at 7, start off at 8, whatever you want to start at, but like keep increasing that speed each week and get on there. And then people come to you, like saying you leaning out, and then you're like, I'm feeling good, I'm leaning out. You're like, your mom told me back, you look small. Like it works. So it's like, if people are willing to take that constructive criticism, that's what we suck at now, taking that constructive criticism.
Yeah,
if you take that and then, but you, like you said, you have to want it. Like that's something that pisses me off. When like somebody be like, let's work out or do this and this, and they just come up there playing around. I'm like, bro, like, please do not waste my time, because I don't just I can't work out with you. Like, I'm not, it's different. That's why I don't work out with everybody. So I'm like, you gotta be a different person for me to work out with you. You got to have that same craziness in your head that want to just not really say nothing to nobody and want to just be super huge in the gym for yourself to work out, because people be up there giggling and stuff. No. You know how I feel about that.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it's kind of the same reason why, like, for me, getting a little off topic, but it kind of relates. Right. People have always been like, Mike, why aren't you a trainer? Mike, why don't you train? Why don't you train? I'm like, because first off, I go to the gym to get away from the world and my problems, and now I'm gonna make that my job, one. And then my thing is, I understand the type of mentality I have in the gym, and I know a lot of people aren't as obsessive as I am. So like, my little bit of dabbling and trying to help people get in shape, it was like days when they weren't committed. I don't know how to have like, I'm very bad at having patience with people who don't want to put it in the work. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get really annoyed. It's like, okay, did you take your pre-workout? Okay, did you take your protein? Did you eat something? No. Well, bruh. And then you're wondering why. It's like, why am I not getting the results, or why am I not getting stronger? Why am I burning? It's like, because you're not.
That's why I can't be a trainer, because I'm like, these people annoying me. It hurts. It's hard.
It's not supposed to feel
like
good.
It's not supposed to be easy. If it was easy, how do I get like you? I always tell people, we don't have the same genetics, we don't have the same body frame. It just work as hard as you can, and your body will do what it's supposed to do.
Right.
You can't always like me or Obi or somebody like swole. Like, it just let it happen.
Or even, well, it's easy for you to say, you guys have those genetics. You guys, it's easy for y'all to get swole. It's easy for y'all to be strong.
That was I was at Texas Tech. We're real outside, but this is our last point on this. I was at Texas Tech. We was playing pickup fives.
Yeah.
I'm bullying this dude in basketball. I'm just having a field day with him. He's like, oh, I hope you feel good about yourself. I wasn't born to be as big and genetically as you. I was like, look, I used to be short and fat. Right. So there you go. That just eliminated everything. You just see me now because I put in that work. Doesn't have nothing to do with nothing. I'm like, you need to just stop being soft and play. And I tell somebody, I'm like, Draymond Green.
Yeah, it's easy for people. Yeah, it's that Michigan coming out of you shit. Nah, I mean, but it's easy for people always, like to hate on people whenever they've actually got the results. Whenever, you're just like everybody else, it's easy for them to kind of accept it. But then it's like whenever you finally set yourself apart, like you talked about your weight loss journey, it was like now that's when people start noticing you. It's kind of, I'm like, it's messed up, but it is what it is. But when people start hating on you, that's where I kind of get a little irritated. It's like the nerve of these, shit. Anyway, so the next point is, I'll get back on topic, is just getting a taste of the drug that is success, right? And that being able to play, a factor in your influence and in your character, kind of. What do you think happens? What do you think, like, what, when you've had your instances of success, what has kept you on a straight and narrow path in terms of being able to say, okay, I had the success, I feel good, but I'm gonna keep on going, rather than being able to rest on your laurels? What keeps you obsessed with wanting to be great, in your opinion?
For me, passion. So you gotta have the passion. Like when it comes to lifting, like I I don't know if I will ever get a sponsorship or anything, a code or whatever, but I don't lift for that. Like where I came in like to the game of lifting like 7 years ago, when that stuff was no Instagram, really no YouTube, really. It was just like I was doing it just to lose weight. And then I started seeing some, of course you fall into it, and like I'm doing it because I'm trying to get girls and stuff. And after a while, it was like, I really love this. Like I really love lifting heavy weight. And then like I got super bulky again, and then I cut one more time and lost 50 pounds, and I was like lean. And I was like, dang, I need the bulk again. And I got big again. And then now I'm cutting right now. I'm like, it's a never end game. It's a never end journey that it just never stops. So for me, you got to find that passion and love where it's like, I'm gonna do this regardless if people like me, see me. I'm in the gym solo dolo, like, or if it's work, like you have to love what you do, or if it's anything, you have to just love what you do. And then when I got that success of being able to pay for it, and the money's gonna come if you just be genuine and be true to yourself. And once you do have that, able to pay for stuff like this, you don't need to spend you don't need to like worry about where money's coming from. You're gonna say, oh, this all came from me just loving my craft, and me just like say LeBron James and Kobe. Like LeBron never woke up and said, I want to be a billionaire. He said, I wanted to be the best basketball player to ever play this game of basketball. And with that, that came $1 billion, because he just stayed true to himself and put all his homies on this, and everything came from that. So I just say passion and being true to yourself. Like I posted a post today on IG, and it was just like, why follow everybody? Why follow everybody, try to be like everybody else when you was made to be able to lead? Like, I feel like I'm the person who was supposed to lead in my head. So I'm not about to follow you and I think I'm the leader. That don't make no sense.
Dang, speak on it. Speak on it. The boy Leonard coming with the gems for y'all, man.
Good day, y'all. You know, I'm always here every week with the gems.
Yeah, but that was good, man. I think for me, it's relentless ambition, right? From the standpoint of what, like, okay, what got me in the gym? I started lifting weights at 13. And I mean, it was very simple. It was like, look, if you want to be good at this football thing, you're gonna have to get in the gym and lift weights. Otherwise, you're gonna get your ass whooped. Like I said, right? So it started off as that, is like, I want to be successful. I want to be the best version I can be. So I'm gonna take this seriously. Then it be like, I started realizing, like, the game of football and all the lessons you learn on the field, they translate to your life in terms of always trying to be the best, always trying to strive for excellence, greatness. I kind of tell athletes that. I tell parents that, who are like, why should I let my son play basketball, play sports? It's like, because that'll translate, that'll give him the habits that he needs or she needs to be able to be successful in everything else, building the discipline, understanding how to carry yourself, understanding, being confident in yourself. Those are translatable traits that you can acquire playing at athletics. And then on top of that, it's a matter of being able to kind of really test my limits and try to attain, the next goal. I'm always trying to, okay, what's the next thing I can achieve? What's the next PR? What's the next, job? What's the next goal? What's the next title? What's the next level of income? What's the next, what I'm saying? It's always about trying to progress forward and try to, okay, once you attain one thing, you try to look to the next. Now that, I'm not gonna lie, it's not for everybody, because there is a a level of like you're never satisfied. You never, you almost, it's sickening because like you don't know how, I don't know how to turn it off, you know. So I'm like, I tell people, it's like if you're gonna be like this, it's just not for everyone. Because there's some people who, you know, they really are just built to kind of get to a certain level, stop, and just live comfortably and live a, you know, a perfectly, you know, normal, calm life. And that's perfectly fine. But for me, it's like I'm trying to be exceptional and I'm trying to leave a legacy and an impact. And with that, I understand that that's not going to be a very normal route. It's going to take a lot of obstacles. It's going to take a lot of trying, failing, and picking yourself back up and, you know, looking to the next
Trial and
thing.
error.
Most definitely. So that's my whole thing. All right, so now the next thing we got to talk about is just what do these men, going back to the money aspect, what do they think the money and the wealth is really buying them? What do you think?
Telling you what is buying them. This is not what they think is what is buying them. This is different. This the question is the changes. What is it buying them? What does money buy men? That's basically what they're saying. Money buys everything. I'm sorry to tell y'all this. The people who say this, I'm tired of y'all saying this. Y'all are wrong. It buys everything. Clout buys everything. Just accept it, y'all. Y'all hate to admit it, but it's just the truth. If I come tomorrow and have $250 million in my bank account tomorrow, the equivalents to women that I would get, friends I would get, opportunities that I would get will be endless. Like, because of course I'm gonna elevate my game. I'm already know I'm going to get my Bentley Mulsanne. That's up the street. That's already 200,000. I'm getting that off rip. That's one. I'm gonna soup up my F-150 and make that thing. I'm probably getting a new one. Soup that up and have it nice, and I'm gonna have probably a S550 Mercedes, and I'll be cool. I might have a sports car. No, I already got a Bentley. I'll have a sports car.
Speak on it.
And I'll have 3 of those. Those are my 3 cars. I'll go buy my house immediately. Make sure my mama is good. Make sure my dad's good. Make sure my brother, my friends, my homies. I got my selective homies who will get some, and who will get some. We all good. And after that, I'm gonna elevate their. I'm gonna say, I'm gonna go to each one of y'all. I'm gonna say, what you want, Obi? What you want, Kev? What you want, Ryan? What you want, Blake? Blah blah blah. Like, what are y'all's vision? I'm not gonna just give y'all crazy, but I'll say I'll give y'all some money to hang on to. But like, I'm gonna pour into y'all stuff instead of just, and to make sure everybody's good. But my thing is, what's that's giving them. Me, I'm big on make sure my people are good, making sure everybody around me is good, but also respect other people. But what comes with that is these men are thinking that they can say what they won't say, which, I mean, I don't blame them because they kind of can. It's like these women they're so into like what you have, not what you are. And then they be like, why are you hurting me? Well, you went into a situation on this guy that has $250 million. He has a clout. He has a lot of women, and you're like, "Why are you hurting me? Why are you're not only picking me?"
Your materialism blinded you, and therefore it allowed me to manipulate you because all you looked at was my money and my resources. Because I have money and resources, you look past everything else, and therefore it allowed you to put yourself in this situation that you find.
I have a movie for y'all to go watch. It's a Tyler Perry movie. I don't even know what it's called. So basically, she was married to her best friend that she grew up with in her small town. She worked at a firm. They moved away. They lived in this little city. They was doing great. He was busy with work because they both were struggling to like make ends meet, but they love each other because they do whatever. So essentially, he always like he forgot her birthday over the last 2 years, but he's like, babe, I'm sorry. I've been busy. And like he'd make sure he tried to make it up. But he was a good guy. He loved her, whatever. It's this guy who came to her little firm, was like looking for like, I got millions of dollars. I'm looking for a girl. Can y'all help me with this? But he liked her and he just kept chipping away at it. So it was a girl who worked at the dude's job and was like, she was weird. She wore like hoodies and stuff. She was hiding from a guy. She's like, my ex, I'm hiding from him. Anyways, this girl fell in love with the dude who had money. The dude that can give her stuff. She was on jets, flying places with him for deals, like for jobs and stuff. He came on to her and she's like, I don't want to do this. And then they had sex. She ended up getting AIDS because he had AIDS, and then
Dang.
she got it, and then the other girl I told you I worked at the her husband's whatever, she already had AIDS, but like essentially the guy started like he beat her and stuff, all that,
Damn.
and she was like, I didn't know what I had until I basically left, and then she tried to come back, and the guy didn't want her, and he ended up marrying somebody, had kids. It was good. It was real good. It was crazy.
God dang.
It was good. But yeah, I think that's kind of what women do, and they kind of get blinded by the material things, and that's what happens.
Damn. Ain't that a bitch?
Hey, that's why I stay to myself. And the reason why I think the times that I've have beat out like basketball players or something, because there are some cornball athletes.
Ooh.
I'm gonna stay true to myself. I'm not about to blow you up. I
Nah.
might slide in your DM every whatever, but I'm not that type of dude really. But if you curve me one time, I got the message. You ain't got to hear from me no more. If you follow me, if I follow you, don't follow me back, I'm unfollowing you in 24 hours.
Nope.
If you don't follow me back, now you got to follow me. And I just live by these rules. I'm not about to sit here and kiss y'all's butt. And that's what men do. They always gonna slide in. A lot of men will talk to themselves in the DMs for 100 years. And like, bro, she ain't gonna reply. But if he had money, I can talk for this for days. Let me just let
Money in the blue check mark, best believe. Yeah, your
you would
pool's
think
gonna
that
be-
dang blue check mark will give them some money, but that's crazy what blue check marks can do.
Telling you. Nah, man. I feel that. I feel the passion in your voice, my brother. It's crazy. Boy, he had to get some shit off his chest. But no, I mean, that's absolutely right. It's like that money, man, makes dudes a little bit, a little bit more attractive. You know what I'm saying? That dude who they thought it was ugly, got that little million, and now,
Like,
you know.
like Jay-Z said, there's no such thing as an ugly man or billionaire when he said one.
Right. So I mean, it is crazy. So it's kind of like you just got to be careful, kind of what you let the money do as far as influencing that man. And then women don't get so caught up in the money. Like, yeah, it's good. It could be attractive. It could be appealing, the lifestyle, but then also look at the character of the individual who you're, looking to date. Like that's all I tell people is just be careful on that. Like I know me who is kind of mild mannered and a material, like I'm a minimalist at heart. So it's like my dad did a lot of like instilling the value of money, like we talked about, like yard work and understanding, like, yo, for every investment, for everything you buy, understand this, understand that. So for me, it's like when I get money, I hopefully will just maintain that same mentality. And it's just a matter of, okay, now I have more money to invest and to kind of live comfortably. I'll be able to fund my lifestyle, but I would probably use more of that to just kind of invest in myself and invest in my people, invest in the people who held me down and who looked out for me. I just try to invest back in them, those who, I value, and then for there, it's just a matter of kind of using it to kind of inspire people to say, look, if I could do it, anybody can do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Both coming with gems. Hey,
man,
stop playing with us.
All right. Now, I think kind of piggybacking on this whole question though, is that men got to be careful of whose opinions and whose words that they take in and listen to. So what do you think of that statement?
It's easy for me to do that. For me, at least, 'cause I'm stubborn. So I really only believe what I be saying anyways half the time. But you do got to be, you don't know who's out there to get you. Like
Facts.
I saw some influencer post a good old caption. He was like, some of the dudes that I looked up to are preying on me on my downfall or something. He said something like that, but it's like the people who put you on kinda is like, okay, now you did too much now. Like you're doing too much. I got to knock you off because now you're an enemy. But it's like, to me, I never saw these people at, like, if you're on the same level as me, like I'm not, or even above me or under me, whatever, like I don't see nobody as competition. It's like,
right.
The universe is going to move out the way off how you move. Like if you true to yourself and real with yourself and confident in your skin and you just be true to yourself. And that's why I think we lost in Instagram. Instagram used to be like, the influencers used to be like actual influencers and want to be like help people. Like now it's like, now I feel like everybody's trying to out one somebody and do this and this. And I'm like, it's cool. Maybe that's what the whole thing is going to now. But
Mhm.
I think for me, I stay true to myself and stay true to my lane. And that's kind of how I look at it. Like, you just can't listen to everybody. Not everybody's going to give you your best judgment. But if somebody does say something, take it with a grain of salt. Don't say too much now. Just listen and then go do your own research from there.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely correct. I agree. I mean, it's kind of like Instagram, I think, kind of created a culture of one-upsmanship and
Right.
tribalism and kind of clickiness. It's like, okay, if you don't have this many followers, then it's like I can't rock with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, my thing is, like you say, like you always talk about, you're gonna respect me as a peer because of how I carry myself. I don't ever let myself think, oh, because I don't have this, that person is above her. But it's like, look, I'm Obi. I'm going to treat people how I want to be treated. I'm going to respect you until you prove that you don't deserve it. And then from there, you're good. You know, you're at arm's distance. I'm not going to be rude blatantly unless you try me. And then it's like, okay, from there, you know, I just walk accordingly. But I think so much like the money has become so much and it's become such an influencing factor. And I think so many people are trying to strive to get to that, you know, that to get a piece of the pie that they lose themselves on the way of trying to get there. You know what I'm saying? That's my whole impression of it all. Sheet. Yeah, and this whole Instagram stuff, social media, and
Weird
it
now.
kind of, huh?
It's weird now, but I still post because it's like I said to you over and over, like I know who I am.
Mm-hmm.
So when I post, I just be posting for me. Like, honestly, I don't even really be looking at other people. So I look at it, but like I just post because I be like, if I can help somebody out there, I'm cool with it. But like, yeah, if I can get another source of revenue, like, of course, why not?
Yeah,
So
I mean, you get to. I think for both of us, it's a matter of we're secure with who we are as people, and we just kind of let it be kind of like, okay, we post, and if you know, if all we can affect is one, and that one is that person who kind of looks at what we say, or looks at our content, or looks at our progress, looks at our journey, and says, okay, this person did it, man. You know, this inspired me to get up. You know what I'm saying? Like, something that happened recently. I was out and I was out with some of my people and some of my friends, and I met some dude and I met some woman who they were like, "Hey, I've seen you before. You're that cologne guy." And I'm like, on Instagram. I'm like, "What you mean?" And they're like, "No, I think I've seen your content. I actually like it, and I've actually been able to add to my collection because of what you said or because of what you talked about." Like that's the stuff that kind of like makes me feel good. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, I take pride in that. Like somebody actually was able to take something I talked about, they were able to add to their collection. Or like when you tell me, yo, based off of, you know, the recommendation that you gave me, or maybe because like a couple of fragrances I've given you, like I've been able to garner compliments because of those. Like that's what I take pride in. Or, you know, people who listen to us and they're like, oh, I like what you guys said. I'm inspired to start my own. Like that's, you know, what it's about for me is being able to get people to believe in themselves enough to where they can kind of leave their own impact and be able to start their own things, whatever it is that fuels them or inspires them. That's what it's about for me.
I agree.
All right. So at the end of all this, kind of getting towards the end, I think at the end of the day, you know, men in insecurity with money or whatever the case may be, I think at the end of the day, what guys have to understand is just that we sow what we reap. You know what I'm saying? So like obviously when it comes to working hard and becoming successful, you're reaping what you sow in a positive manner and you're becoming successful based off of, you know, your blood and your sweat equity. But it also can be taken in the wrong way and it can be taken in the opposite direction in terms of if you let that corrupt who you are, you know, it corrupts your blueprint, your frame, and who you are as an individual. Well, then that just as easily could be detrimental to, you know, your impact and your character and your perception on how society sees you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's my take on from you know, from all of this.
No, yeah, it's like kind of. I've never knew that definition though. Like you reap what you sow. Like it's kind of like karma.
Yeah, pretty much. That's how the boys take it. It's a biblical term, you know, but yeah, in essentially karma's a bitch. If we want to say
Yeah,
it that way. You know what I'm saying?
like that, I'm big on that. Like like I'm not ever like ever telling that like anybody taking like little things from like grocery stores or anything, like just anything like remotely like that can get you lead to something.
Mm-hmm.
Like I always know it can come back on you, and like I don't do things from. I think there's good karma too. So it's like I do things. I don't do things just to be like, oh, I want something in return. But like if there's somebody I can like for a homeless person, for example, like I sometimes kind of fill it out. Sometimes kind of see they might want to buy drugs with it, but like if I do have some extra cash in my wallet, I don't really carry cash. I probably most likely sometimes will give it to the homeless guy. Like I hope he don't buy nothing with drugs, but like you never know. It could be somebody out there that really needs it. And like I like somebody asked me for gas money that I know, and they was like, bro, you never met her before. Like, why would you give her gas? Like, if she got if she lying to me for $40-$50 and she trying to play me, it's like it's gonna come back on her. Like, right. Like if she really did need it, maybe that was my nice gesture for the month. Maybe that just made me. So I do definitely think you can get some bad stuff coming into you if you just treat everybody wrong. It might not be in this life, it could be in the next life. So you just never know. So that's my 2 cents on it.
Speak on it, but I like that. Again, karma is good and karma is bad. It's just all about putting the right energy, the right vibes out, and you usually attract what you put out. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I always try to carry myself with confidence, carry myself with uplifting vibes. I'm always trying to uplift people. Always try to give people a sense of like I don't want to be someone who's like, oh man, every time I'm around Mike, it's something negative coming out his mouth or something down. I'm like, nah, man. Hey, what's good? Everything good? How's everybody doing? You know what I'm saying? If people going through stuff, like I get it, we're all human, we're all adults mostly. Hey man, one day at a time, keep on moving. You know what I'm saying? The fact that we woke up today, we have our health intact, you know what I'm saying? Count our blessings, let's keep it moving and let's keep on striving. You know what I'm saying?
Agreed.
All right, man. That'll do it for this week.
Boom.
Good shit, my boy. God dang. Dropping gems. We ain't dropped too much pepper soup. I think, we're able to keep it all constructive and keep it positive, and just try to, educate the fellas for this week. Yeah,
I just start using that in my day-to-day talk. Pepper soup.
Yeah, man. Little tea. We call it in, IG culture, a little smoke, in other realms. But I mean, bottom line is just telling people what they need to hear, not what they want to hear. You mean? So, but what's just been your takeaway from this week's message and this week's episode?
What have I take away from this episode? That's a good question, Obi. I'm sorry, I'm just kidding. But what I took from this episode, honestly, I mean, not to be cocky, I've already instilled these things in my head because I know this is a problem in today's society.
Yeah.
But for anybody who else needs it, don't be an asshole. Be respectful. Respect it. Be kind to everybody around you. I mean, I got my days where I'm moody. Obi will tell you, I just don't be liking people sometimes. Some days I don't want to talk. Some days I do want to talk. But try to be as nice as you can be. Don't be a dick just because somebody just because you got money or you got clout, bro. Like you really normal at the end of the day. If you're not LeBron James, Jay-Z or somebody, be quiet, bro. Go read a book or something. So that's my 2 cents. Everybody be kind to everybody. Positive note.
There we go. And we can go ahead and wrap it up on that one right there. So we appreciate y'all continuing to rock with us, obviously. Follow us on social media. Keep on rock with us. Keep on spreading the movement. You can tap in with us and, give us any type of episode request that you want to talk about, like this person this week did. Follow me at obi.mike56 on IG. Els, I already told y'all how to spell his Instagram out, but go ahead still. One more time.
I ain't spelling nothing out. Follow me on London_Ogletree. Ogletree. But I appreciate y'all for real. Give me and Obi a follow, man. We coming. This is the direction we need to do. When we get these microphones in this studio, y'all,
it's over. Game over.
It's drop time. It's really so. We gotta do our part. You guys are doing your part, but trying to help us and support us. Now we gotta do the part for y'all and get this studio on mic and get this going.
Amen to that. Well, we'll catch y'all next week, and much love to y'all. We out.
Feet on the ground with a prove you wrong mindset. I'd rather go out on my sword than have my mind tapped. The ones with eyes can never see, I make the blind clap. I'm bringing back that type of sound that wants to find rap. Divine